I'm not just randomly and obscurely climbing on other people's cows.
You're just climbing cows. It's a
Just
classic
climbing
Oklahoma
cattle,
pastime.
apparently. That's what we do in Oklahoma.
You have to be able to climb the cow for when you land on one after a twister.
Raising a well-behaved child in this world requires strict discipline and punishment. Today, we will look...
No, we will not.
Hello and welcome to Childproof. I'm Tori Phantom.
And I'm Gwenna Lathland, and today we're going to finish some sentences.
Yeah. Today we've crawled back through the notes on our previous episodes to finish the thing the timer interrupted.
Interrupted by incessant and insistent noisemakers. Constantly. Consistently.
Our entire lives. That's our whole lives. Everything we do. Tiny things start screaming at us, and we have to stop what we're doing and address them.
Are we still talking about timers?
Absolutely not.
Should we start the timer?
Absolutely, yes.
So in our house, we'll get to the tail. This is why we can't ever finish an episode, because we can't just start talking about the thing we said we were going to talk about. My 7-year-old, I have 7-year-olds, by the way. Wow. I have to. It feels weird on the tongue. Okay.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
my 7-year-old girl child, they're both doing it, but the girl child is struggling the most with the interruption. She is just a tiny little interruption machine on legs. This girl has mastered the interrupter timing. She will find the worst possible spot to come running into the room and saying something. And we're not talking like she's creating an emergency by interrupting.
Yeah.
But like Jack and I are watching a TV show and they're about to give like the spoiler. And just as the name of the killer comes out of their mouth, here's my girl child go, "Mom, what did he say? What did she say? Dang it."
Yeah, that's in my house. I am consistently saying, sorry, the middle of my sentence interrupted the beginning of yours.
Is that what
yeah.
I want?
Yeah, we're all interrupters, but to be fair, you and I are too. We just stay interrupting each other. That's how we have conversations.
You're the one who edits it.
Yeah. That's the interrupting, what I've started saying as well, because there's always like that tension breaking joke of like, hey, I'm talking, like, sorry that the middle of my sentence interrupted the beginning of yours. But I also say, hey, I care what you have to say, but I need you to keep it with you until I have the time to hear it. Like I need to finish what I'm saying. I need to finish this conversation. You have to wait. That doesn't mean I don't care. You have to wait.
We've tried a couple different ways, some more effective than others. We started doing the Bluey method. There's an episode of Bluey where Bandit describes to Bingo, if I am talking to someone and you need my attention, you come up and you put your hand on me, on my arm or on my tummy. And if you're hanging out there with your hand on me, I know that you need my attention. And as soon as I can give you some, I should do so. That works more or less. But if their assessment of how long we should be granted to finish saying whatever we were saying to whoever we were talking is different than the amount of time that we actually needed, meaning if they touch me and I don't turn to them within the first 3 seconds, then it starts getting like urgent, like you're hurting me. Stop. What do you need? I wasn't done talking, but what?
Yeah. And it's very rarely anything that is like pressing.
No, 9 out of 10 times it's like, watch me try this. No.
Yeah. Do you do the, like if you're on a phone, because of course the kids are always completely fine and independent until you answer a phone. And you just
tying
do the
pterodactyls in the background.
You hold your arm out in a firm, the all the way extended with the one index finger up, and you shoot the mom
you're
look.
hyperflexing that elbow for emphasis.
And you're like, and you just keep almost like punching your hand in the air with your finger up, and you give the mom look, and you're like perfectly. You're on the phone like, yeah, how's it going?
Your voice doesn't match your face. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I was calling to.
And what was that appointment time?
Yeah, I have accidentally. I don't want to say the word because I'm pretty sure someone will sound clip me and just go haywire. I have accidentally made contact with a child, like doing the wait, because they just kept walking to me, and it was behind me, and like I pushed my hand out and I felt face. And
That's
what you doing?
We just grew out of and I say grew out like literally, not metaphorically. Literally, my littlest finally grew enough that, because she's my duckling, I call her my duckling. She's always one step behind me, and for a while there, before she gained the extra inch, she was always a step behind me. She'd go, "Mom," and I would turn, and her head was my elbow height. So when I would turn, I kept knocking her, and I'm like, "I am so sorry. Also, take one step back, dude." Like, please.
Yes. You don't actually have to physically come into if our clothes are brushing, we're maybe too close to each other for like regular interactions.
Yeah. Like I'm turning to help you, not to elbow you, but like, one step back, Bubby.
Yeah. I will say that it's been a bit, and the mom look is starting to help the girl child realize, oh, I just interrupted, because, and the gentle parenting haters will be like, oh, this is part of the problem. No, I am fully aware that my 7-year-old is not being willfully disobedient. She is not weaponizing incompetence. She is just incompetent. When you weaponize incompetence,
that is a 7-year-old. They just don't know things.
A 7-year-old. She is not good at social cues. She is not good at reading the room. She is so excited to say whatever she has to say that she is inherently a very selfish person. 7-year-olds are selfish. That is, again, not a negative.
They have to be. It is literally age-appropriate behavior.
Right. So, like, she is so excited to tell me whatever she needs to tell me that she didn't notice. She simply did not turn on awareness of what was going on around her, because her entire all-consuming thought was, tell mom this cool thing, or ask mom for this. Like, she's incompetent at reading the room.
And their formative
She'll learn.
memory,
we're working with her.
Their formative memory only turned on a couple years ago. And learning takes time. Learning takes time and repetition. Right. When you want to learn something, you don't just go, I want to learn this new thing. I will look at it once. I will read this thing once. I will watch one video and I will remember everything. No, like the basic things that kids are learning, that is the equivalent to you deciding you want to learn a new instrument.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. You're going to have to figure everything out from the basics.
Right. And they're doing that on literally everything. Everything.
Yes.
They're still learning English, y'all.
Yeah.
So when we talk about, I mean, for those children that are learning English as their first language, when we talk about incompetence and weaponized incompetence, in order for it to be weaponized incompetence, you actually have to be capable of the competency in the first place. You have to be capable of mowing the yard, and then pretending or acting as if, or leading people to believe that you are actually not able to mow the yard. That is weaponized incompetence.
Or
but if
you do it
genuinely,
so badly, you do it so badly that people will say, oh, well, I'll just do it because you clearly don't do a good job. And that was the goal of the weaponization, to get out of it. Yeah.
But if you have 2 broken wrists and a push mower, you are in fact currently incompetent, because you can't hold that mower and push it. So that is not weaponized incompetence. You have 2 broken wrists. You have a chronic pain condition. You have a reason why mowing the yard is inaccessible to you, or not a task that you can complete. That's not weaponized incompetence. That's just incompetence.
And in the same vein, learning how to mow the yard, you might not be good at it at first. You might not know how to edge the thing. I don't know what the word is. I do know how to mow the lawn, though. But I had to learn.
We call it weed whack. I think we've had this discussion before. We call them different things. We've
talked about weed whackers several times. That's like a thing that keeps coming up.
But like, yes, normally calling someone incompetent is normally assigned to being an insult.
Yeah. but it isn't
and
always
in the right
necessarily.
tone, absolutely. But kids are not good at being people. That's what they're learning how to do. They're learning how to be a people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my 7-year-old is not always great at reading the room, but we've gotten to the point where we've called her on it often enough that I can shoot her one of these.
Yeah.
And oh, sorry, I'll wait. Like, she knows what I'm mom looking her for.
Right.
She realizes immediately after the fact, oh crap, I interrupted. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a sign of learning is when, oh, I still messed up, but I recognized that and apologized, or I recognized that and adjusted my behavior. And
Yeah.
part of the learning when it comes to things like interrupting, you don't get to see because they just didn't interrupt.
Correct.
So you
Right.
just,
you
you're not
would have
going
to
notice
be
that they
tracking
didn't
every
interrupt.
time your child thought about saying something and decided to hold on to it, and then 9 out of 10 times forgot. Because my son has decided to raise his hand. We didn't tell him to do that. It's just a holdover from school. But when
Yeah.
he has something to say and is waiting his turn, he raises his hand. Also, props to the teachers. I have to apologize to all of my son's teachers because my son is not a hand raiser. My son is a hand panicker. So like his whole body is, and he's shaking and he's like
I was
raising
that
the
kid.
roof. Like he's
Yeah.
like, he has to get your attention. I'm sorry. I'm
kid.
glad he's excited to contribute, but
Yeah.
chill. Like, turn it down. You're on 11. 8's fine.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. I
Spinal
have a
Tap
kid.
reference of the day. You're welcome.
I have a kid that only gets like that if they're talking about history.
No, I know which one. I have a kid like that. I immediately knew which
Yeah,
one. you
yeah.
were talking-
apparently won the entire class a piece of candy because she was the only kid in the class who knew what type of government we had. And she's like, democracy. And I was like, so proud of you. Good
Yeah.
job. What kind of candy?
That's my favorite. That is actually a great icebreaker around our table. Just wild topic swing. This is neither in our notes nor is it related to anything we've been talking about. But my favorite way to get the children talking at the dinner table about their day without getting the "what did you do?" Ask them obscure questions. Like, we got candy from the treasure box. What kind of candy?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a Tootsie Roll and my friend had a. Well, now we're critically thinking. And once we get that critically thinking part turned on, now we can get the rest of the information out of the day. Aside from the standard, it was fine. We went outside. Lunch was good.
I like to ask, what did the cafeteria smell like today?
Yes.
Because
The
you
more
never know.
obscure the question.
Yeah, you got to kind of like wake their little brain up because that is, how was your day today? I don't know. What did you do? I don't remember. I'm like, what did I send you to school for?
Sweetie, you feel too young to be having memory issues like this. That's more mommy's domain. What you mean you don't know?
Yeah. That's no, what did you learn? I don't know. Okay. Did you do math? Yeah. Okay, what did you do in math? Oh, well, we're working on multiplication. So you do remember.
Yeah, but the stranger the question, the more effective I found it is to actually get them thinking about their day. Again, they're not good at being people yet. They don't know how to conversate. And honest, I load that into small talk. It can, and often in our family does lead into, we had a whole discussion about Coco the gorilla yesterday because my kids briefly saw a monkey on the little interactive game that they played at school.
Yeah.
And my son, who's in the Reddit stage, goes, actually, it was a gorilla. Because my kids are in separate classes, but there's a lot of things that both teachers do.
Right.
The units follow each other. So they're getting more or less the same curriculum, just in different classroom structures. But my son goes, actually, it's a gorilla. And it said, I love you. And in sign language. And so then that spun us out into an hour-long exploration of Coco the gorilla, who knew sign language.
I absolutely love that. That small talk at our house is obscure, because of who we all are as people.
I'm shocked. Shooketh.
That is my middleest. You're going to be so shocked to hear this. You know, that's my shyest child. Won't talk to anybody. But anytime that she knows that me or dad are going somewhere where we're going to talk to someone, or anytime that she feels comfortable enough, she has one question that she asks everybody and also asks us to ask everybody. And that is, what did Paul Revere say on his midnight ride? Because she loves being able to tell people what he actually said. But when we were in Philadelphia, we were going on lifts, and she'd never been on a lift, right? And so when we first got on a lift to go from the airport to the hotel, she was like, why are we getting in a stranger's car? And I was like, it's a lift. And she felt like she was, but I don't know if we're supposed to do this. Now, I can and will talk to anybody. That's the thing that I do. I think it's kind of fun, you know, like you could have this just a brief moment where you connect with someone that you never would have met otherwise. And I know some people are like, you talk to people in the lift. I'd rather do that than just like sit in silence. Like I don't
just for the record, just so you know, we are often accused of being the same person in a different font. And in many ways we are. In this, we are starkly opposite, because if Uber and Lyft would have a little "don't talk to me" checkbox, I would check that every time. We can communicate what you need to know about my destination and any special needs that you may have as the operator of this vehicle. But beyond that, shh.
Yeah, and that's fair. Some people, it's like it's uncomfortable, and for me,
I'm going to say something dumb. This is my whole concern. It's not what you're going to say to me. It's I'm going to end up saying something dumb.
Yeah. Well, when we started this, right? Like because a lot of people are chatty, and I'm fine, like engaging, and I'm just friendly, and so that just typically, you know, I say hi, how are you, and I'm just like friendly, and then people, they're just open to talking, right? It's just the energy, and by the end of this short trip we took, she was enjoying it because like we would talk to anybody and everybody. And like this one woman was from France, and, you know, like I have been learning French for half of my life, and I've been really back into expanding my knowledge and my use of the language. And one of our Lyft drivers was French. And she was about to go home to see her French family in a week or two. And she gave me a website to get French groceries. And we talked to a whole lot of really interesting people. And we just learned things, right? And so my kiddo went from, why are we getting in a stranger's car, to she realized that different cars had different smells. And so she was trying to start the small talk, and she would go, your car smells really nice. And they'd be like, oh, thank you. Like, yeah, it's important to me to make sure the car smells nice. And like, I was like, okay, all right. And the one time the driver was not a big chatter. And after she was like, I think I do prefer it when we get to talk to them. And I was like, this is a good skill to have, because we should be able to talk to people. And it is a good open-mindedness to, like, if you're able to hear other people's experiences and just connect for a moment.
I was so excited. My daughter finally did a thing that I have been never once telling her to do, but demonstrating for her and giving her permission to experiment with. I will tell you about that as soon as we hear from this week's sponsor.
I have a problem with Bones. I think I have too many Bones coffees. Bones coffee comes in so many flavors, and they're all good. Normally when I find a brand that has flavors of something, I find one or two flavors and then I obsessively consume those one or two flavors. But with Bones coffee, I actually haven't found one that isn't good. Even ones I think I don't like cereal milk flavored things very much. But their electric unicorn coffee is really good. It tastes like coffee made with cereal milk. Even if you haven't added any milk, much less cereal milk. I'm obsessed with Bones in a potentially unsafe, hazardous to my health way. But not hazardous to my budget, because you can have a Bones collection just like mine and pay less for it than I paid, because you get a discount code. Use code Childproof at bonescoffee.com or use the link in the show description to save money on getting yourself way too many bones.
Use code Childproof at bonescoffee.com to save 10% off your order of Bones.
Blueberry blast cake is my favorite, but Megalodona is really good. Oh, so's Holy Cannoli and Crazelnut. Yeah, they're all good.
So I have always been of the mind, see something, say something. And that is both positive and negative. If I see that your skirt is tucked up in your panties from a restroom trip, oh, I'm telling you, baby, I am going to assume you did not want that cheek hanging out. And if that was a fashion choice, then I will take the shame of, oh, it's supposed to be like that. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Love the look. But I will also, oh, I love that sweater. I will go out of my way slightly. Like, I'm not chasing them down. I'm not going to like stalker them through the parking lot to tell them that I like their sweater. But I'll take a step to the left and be like, hey, I love your sweater. And I try to find ways of positively reinforcing, encouraging, just making someone's day a little bit better. Because the number of times that someone's like, oh, your hair is so cute, total stranger, I'm like, thanks, glowing for the next hour. Because someone said something nice about my hair. Yeah. Well, I can give that. It cost me nothing. Plus, I got the dopamine of going, oh, that's a really cute sweater.
I do the exact same thing. And anytime I interact with someone, like I will not give a false compliment. I think that's
I don't lie to people.
I don't lie. But I have found that generally speaking, I always see something immediately where I'm like, that's so cool. Or I really like that. And I never hesitate to say it. And just like with my kids as well, they will roll down the windows at drive-thrus and just yell out to the person in the window.
See,
I like your hair.
My daughter is not a shy person, but she's also not one of the talks to everybody because they are in her vicinity. She's sort of choosy about who she interacts with. Now, if someone interacts with her, she has no qualms. She's perfectly sociable. She doesn't mind talking to them. She's just not one to start most interactions. She will happily participate in them if she is invited into them. But my kids, all of them, have been watching me pay compliments to strangers their entire life. I have never once sat them down and go, this is why mama says nice things to nice people.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were like mentally ready for that, because it's sort of you also kind of have to read the people, because every once in a while I'll be like, oh, you seem like you're having a bad day and I don't feel like this will help. Yeah. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. The nice thing to do in that situation is to give someone space. So
yes. Big smile if you make eye contact, but adults can read the room and be like, no, this isn't the time to engage with that particular person.
Yeah.
But my girl child, my oldest, has been doing this for ages, and I do not remember the point at which she started willingly doing it on her own. But my youngest, we were walking into the Mart of Wall, and she spotted somebody who was wearing a long Doctor Who looking scarf, different colors, but it was the super long. Yeah. Part of it was trailing on the ground, kind of. It was a vibe. And my daughter liked it. And as they were walking by, she goes, excuse me. And they stop. I like your scarf. Good job. And then walks away. I don't know where the good job came from, but I am so tempted to be like, much. I like your pedicure. Good job.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. My littlest rolls down the windows at stop signs if she sees a pedestrian walking a dog, to yell out the window, I like your dog. That's a nice dog.
My children, because we live in different places with different things. My children roll down the windows to moo at the cows to see if they'll moo back.
That's one of my kids. Her favorite animal has been a cow her entire life, and she got to pet one at the county fair a couple years ago. And we did have to give allergy medicines because she's allergic to everything. But she got to pet a cow, and I will never, like, that moment of my child getting to pet a cow is burned into my psyche. It was so special.
Listen, if you'd visit them, we have them that live across the street. If the brown one's over there, she doesn't mind if you climb on her.
My kid would.
I know the owner of these cows, by the way. I'm not just randomly and obscurely climbing on other people's cows.
You're just climbing cows. It's a
just climbing
Oklahoma
cattle,
pastime.
apparently. That's what we do in Oklahoma.
You have to be able to climb the cow for when you land on one after a twister.
Okay. From the archives of the stuff we didn't finish talking about, from the episode Sarcasm is a Love Language, we briefly started touching on pre-gaming. What is pre-gaming? Not the millennial kind where you get slightly drunk before you go to get the rest of the way drunk at the event. That's one version of pre-gaming. Yeah, good job. But pre-gaming is that thing we do where before we go to an event, before we get out of the car, before we walk into a store, whatever is happening, we turn around and we parent face our kids and be like, listen here, you little shits.
Yeah, you go from in the beginning when they're younger, it's every time, okay, we look with our eyes, not our hands. If you are not respecting the rules and boundaries, you have to hold on to the cart. We are not the only people in this store. We have to be respectful of the place we're in, the employees, the other people here. And then you get to a point where they're a little older and you go, remind me what those rules are. Because now they remember it.
For my teenager, I am still pre-gaming my teenager, but it's a very different type of pre-gaming because now it looks like Uncle Fester is going to be here. Yes, it's still attached to his head. Don't you do not speak to me in that tone of face. No, you cannot make that at Uncle Fester. I don't know why it's still on his head, but it's there. Leave it alone. That's the type of pre-gaming we've got.
Yeah. That's it gets a little different. It gets a little different as they get a little older.
There comes a point at which if you've never pre-gamed before, you sort of have to know. I go with the 5 senses. When I was pre-gaming the youngest kids, I tried to mention something that was going to touch all of their senses. It's going to smell like if we were walking into, say, a lawn store. I would prepare them for, it's going to smell like fertilizer and dirt, and it's going to be a strong smell. We're going to taste things if we're going into a restaurant. And then I would take that opportunity. But first, we're going to talk to the waitress, and then we're going to have to wait a little bit, and then we'll be able to taste this thing. We're going to see things. We're going to touch things. I will give you a time to touch the thing, but you cannot go, visualizing with your fingertips. Okay. Yeah. But that's how I would arrange my pregame is I would think of the senses and try to prepare every sense that was possibly going to be assaulted once we walked in there.
Yeah. We'd gone to a museum recently that would say it had specific things that were like, you can touch this. This is a copy of that. And if you feel like you want to touch that, you can touch this. And it feels the exact same way. And I was like, this is amazing. But like when we go to a store, I always tell my kids, I'm like, don't put your fingers on the glass. Like we look with our eyes, not our hands, because if you are messing things up, you are making someone else's job harder. You are giving someone else more work to do because now they have to fix the shelf that you messed with. They have to wipe your fingerprints off that glass. And we should be respectful. And one time, a few years ago, we were in the checkout line and I turn my head and I see my kiddo is hands deep in the candy bar thing. And I was like, bro, what is the rule? We look with our eyes, not our hands. And she goes, oh, I think I'm sorry I broke the rule, but I just noticed that all the candy bars were rearranged like they were in the wrong boxes. And like, I wanted to make someone else's job easier. But I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh, no, proceed. You're good. You're good. That's a very nice thing.
But gentle parenting doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't work ever at all. That was
actually the next level of my pre-gaming is once we sort of got good about what to expect, what sort of behavior is expected, what sort of, social expectation are you going to be experiencing here? How do we act in a store? After that, I started easing sort of the boredom of every time we go to Walmart, from age 2 to 5, when now they just do it, I need you to look for things that are out of place. And if you find cans that are where they don't belong or boxes where they don't belong or stuff laying on the floor, you tell me and then we'll help fix it. And now they spot, the sauerkraut down with the carrots. And my son does it wordlessly. He'll just walk up, pick a can up and just walk it right back down to and sometimes he's got to ask for help. Mom, I can't reach it. So I put it back. Yeah. But yeah, they just do that now. But what that did is that gave them some sense of purpose. Their purpose inside that grocery store is to help find things that are out of place and put them away so someone else doesn't have to do it and people can find what they need because it's exactly where it belongs.
Yes.
So now they have a purpose in the store.
Right. And I think it is so interesting when you are realizing that they are not just listening, but they're emulating the behaviors. Because if they see us doing it, I think in a lot of ways, especially when they're younger, seeing us do what we're telling them we want to see from them is more impactful than just repeating ourselves 50 times. Because do as I say, not as I do is not as effective.
Right.
I mean, I think we all know that. But then your kids call you out when you're like screen break and they're like, why are you on your phone? Double standard.
Listen.
This is clearly a double standard.
I have actually, among the various dinner table topics that come up, we talked about Pavlov, and my kids are trying to Pavlov my dog into barking when they say hello. Okay, that's training. Not quite Pavlov, but you know what? It's fine. If you want to teach the dog to speak, have fun. She doesn't know how to do that. She's like 13, so I doubt she's going to learn. But go off. You're not hurting anything.
Good luck.
There's worse things you could be doing with your time.
Yeah.
But, I may have accidentally Pavloved my children into certain behavior. You guys can Google what Pavloving is, what the Pavlov's dog experiments were. But basically, through repetition, you sort of create this muscle memory and mental expectation of a thing happening. And so my kids now, when they see something laying on the floor of the store, it's just a compulsion to go pick it up and at least stick it back up on the shelf if you can't immediately find where in the store it goes.
Right.
At least get it out of the floor, right?
I mean, at least it's a productive behavior, right?
But here's the way I know I accidentally Pavloved them is because for a while what I would do is, oh, will you pick up that box of Capri Sun that fell down? They'd pick it up and they'd put it back. I'm like, high five. My daughter, we were in the store the other day. My daughter just spotted a bag of carrots that had fallen out of the cooler. So she picked the carrots up, put it back. I didn't say a word, by the way. She picked the carrots up, put it back, spun around, hand out. And she, high five. Okay. Yeah, I'll give you a high five for that.
All right. Yep, I did that. Yep.
And that was the moment I realized, I might have trained them into a behavior there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I also have commands that my husband said from a distance. You know the like swelling of bird clouds, like the murmurations where they just sort of follow their own patterns to the sky. Yeah, watching the children rotate around you on command because it's behind, beside, and basically there were whole explanations. Hey, there's someone coming. Let's line up behind mama. Oh, no, it's okay. You guys can go to the sides of the cart. Oh, we've got a pretty open aisle and no one coming at us. So you guys can be on either side of the cart. So now it's behind, beside, two sides. Those are just over time. It's truncated into those little commands, but it means that they're just rotating around me. And I'm not even saying the words sometimes because they're just looking ahead and going, big, wide open aisle. No one coming at us. We can be on either side of the cart.
Yeah. My kids just swarm me like a bird like that all the time. It's like they want to hang out with me and I'm like, this is awesome.
No, go ahead and hit the trauma button because that shouldn't be confusing.
Trauma dump.
It'd be like that. So this, I'm going to like swing this because like my kids like to hang out with me. And last week on our episode, as you know, our listeners do not, we only got to like half of the note we laid out.
That note,
which is, I think, happening again right now. We're going to get to everything
we made this note of the unfinished notes, and that time was looking a little skinny.
But we're planning last week to talk about like the experience of when your kid really, 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 really wants to share something with you and you really, really, really aren't interested in that thing. Like you think it's not going to be interesting, but it goes beyond kids, right? Because I don't know about you, but if someone tells me like, you should watch this TV show, I'm like, yeah, maybe I should. And like, but I don't really watch TV, and I'm like, I don't want to disappoint you, so I'm gonna maybe get to it. Like I want to, but also the more people that are saying that I should do something, the less likely I want to do it. And that's just that demand avoidance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna
Like,
say it kicks in
yeah.
that demand avoidance, man.
It's like-
the too many
yeah.
people say something, I'm like, no. I
I
was
can't
gonna,
do
but
it.
not now.
Like,
I will
I was-
deprive myself because you told me about it.
I was gonna do the dishes, but then you asked me to do the dishes. You told me I should do the dishes, and now I can't do the dishes. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Let me
But-
weaponize my incompetence here real quick.
Circle gets the square. But my kiddo is really, really, really into animation, and my kiddo is really, really, really good at animating. It's amazing. I mean, anyone who watches this podcast instead of just listening has seen my kid's animation, because Gwenna has technical issues, and my kid decided one day, I am going to fix that by creating Gwenna. And so
It's
they're
actually
really
a really good Gwenna.
Yeah. They're really into this indie animation studio called Glitch, and they have several shows. There's like Murder Drones and The Amazing Digital Circus. Like, they have all these things, and my kid's really into it. My kid always wants to share that with me. And I've never been one super into animation, but I always like try, right? Because I love when my kids are into something or are open to something that I like, and I get to share my interest. And so I'm like, as a parent, I try my hardest to go into it with an open mind. But I am hard to pin down for TV that I want to watch. I've been trying to watch this Samuel Adams series for a year. I've gotten through 2 episodes. I just don't watch things. But one day, I was doing something after my little ones were in bed, and my eldest comes out and is like, "You're not doing something that requires a whole lot of mental work. Could we put on an episode of this show?" And I was like, you know what? Yeah, why don't we do that? When I tell you, I love The Amazing Digital Circus. It's so good. I watched the whole series with them. We got Jim on, and I think it's a really tricky thing to do sometimes, to choose to try to have an open mind and engage with something that otherwise you'd be like, that seems like something I would never be interested in. And because of that, I feel really resistant to engaging with it because someone is asking me to do it. But then sometimes you have a new show you like, and you're asking your kid when the next episode comes out. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
See, and I had a very opposite experience where my teenage daughter, and this was several years ago, my teenage daughter ran up, Mom, you have to hear this song. Okay, let me hear the song. She turns it on, and it is twangy country. And she's telling me all the reasons she loves it. Like, all right, cool. I love that you love it. I did not enjoy it. I am not a twangy country girl, despite having grown up my entire life in Oklahoma. Maybe that's the reason why. I could appreciate that people love country. I understand why you love country. It's just not for me. My daughter, however, has a very different experience, and I love that. I am unbothered that she likes twangy country where I don't, because again, I understand how it's likable. I just don't like it.
It's just not for you. Right.
It's just not for me. It is for her. And so she listened to this. We listened to this whole song. She like, what'd you think? I was like, I like that you like it. She goes, no. I was like, what's no? She goes, no, you only say that when you don't like it. Well, honestly, I didn't enjoy it very much, but I love that you love it. And if you want me to listen to more of his songs, I will happily listen to more of his songs, and you can tell me all the reasons you love it, because I love hearing reasons why people love stuff that I did not.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a fun experiment for me, because they're like, oh, I love how this guitar sounds. Oh, it sounds like a dying cat to me. Why do you love that? Like, what's pleasing about that? I'm not like coming for it. I want to understand why the dying cat sound does not sound like a dying cat sound to you.
I am used to explaining music like that because I listen to folk punk.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have had this exact same experience. You sent me a song. You're like, what do you think? I was like, I love that you love it.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, for me, I'm never insulted by that because, as you know, I've never liked anything casually in my entire life. So I never expect someone to have that same, like, veracity of passion for things.
What I ended up having to do with Abby is because when she realized, oh, you don't like it? Yeah. Well, if you don't like the things that I like, no, we're not going to internalize that different tastes are any sort of statement on feelings about each other. We can like different things. We can have differing opinions. We can have equal opposite opinions where I hate this thing and you love this thing. And as long as we are not talking about something problematic, something that deprives other people of their life, their liberty, or their pursuit of happiness, we can disagree, and I will not love you less.
I am holding in my history references. You did it for me, and now I want a history dump, but I won't continue your story.
And on this episode of Founded, available everywhere you find your favorite podcast. It's just Tori's history dump at all times. Yeah, but we had to have the conversation of no. I can dislike a thing. Wait. How do you feel every time I turn on Five Finger Death Punch? Oh, I tolerate it at best. Okay. So do you like me less, even though I like to listen to Five Finger Death Punch? She goes, no, but I wish you would listen to it less. I was like, noted, probably won't change, but I understand. But that's the same as I feel about your music. I love that you love it. And if you're DJ, I don't get to say a word about those songs coming up. And she caught me singing one the other day. She goes, you do love it. No, you just won't stop playing it.
It's a Stockholm Syndrome.
I know the words against my will, Abby.
I tolerate a lot of music that I otherwise wouldn't love and allow it to be on the car cues regularly because my kids have to tolerate whatever thing I'm listening to on repeat all the time. It's been Hamilton for 2 years. But one of my kids is really into like video game sounding music, like just that background kind of music. And I prefer words. Okay. I prefer songs with words, with lyrics. That's where I was going. I want to sing. I love singing. And I will sing along with the songs I don't love, but I can't do that when there's no words. My kid's really into that. But what I realize is I'm like, I don't want to complain every time. And so there are certain songs of that variety that it's grating to my ears. And there's certain songs that I realize while we're driving down the road, and I'm not in control of the cue when we're driving, I start to get into it and I start bobbing. And then I start acting like I'm in Mario Kart where I'm going like 20 miles an hour. And I'm like, we're going to win the race. And I'm like, this music makes me think of Mario Kart when it has nothing to do with it. And now the kids think it's hilarious. And that is how I have found a way to enjoy the music I didn't like, is by being a freaking goober, which is kind of the only thing I do with my life.
I did the other day. I had turned on a playlist that Spotify built for me for instrumental reading music. I just needed some chill background music vibes. Yeah. And I was sitting there typing as this thing was going because I was writing on my book, and I was typing and I heard the sundown music from Minecraft. And I don't think you played Minecraft.
No, I can't do Minecraft, but I've seen it. I've heard it. I can't tell what I'm looking at.
There's sundown music. And if you suck at playing Minecraft the way I suck at playing Minecraft, when you hear the sundown music, you need to go inside. You need to go hide and hunker down because the monsters at night are coming out. And I don't like doing the combat because I am terrible at it. So I run and hide. So in the middle of this, of writing, and I'm writing kind of a sappy scene at the time, and the nighttime music for Minecraft turns on, and I immediately go into a panic of, I have to get back in the house! Anyway, I had to turn that playlist off and then tell it not to play me Minecraft music anymore because apparently it stresses me out.
I think it's so frustrating how much I want the playlists that are made for me to feel like they were made for me. Like I'm like, why did you put these songs together? But I think I confuse the Spotify because I listen to a weird variety of music.
Arguably way less harder to understand in my music tastes. My music, I used to be one of those kids who so desperately wanted to be like, I listen to everything. I listen to like 4 things on repeat. I'm okay with that. I do not have eclectic music tastes. I have some disparate music tastes where I like some things that are not normally also liked by people who like this other thing.
I'd listen to everything.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't listen to everything. I have become comfortable with that. But every once in a while, I'll choose one of the Spotify lists and they're like, oh, because you listened to Good Charlotte. No, I only liked that one song from Good Charlotte, friends. That was it. There was no more Good Charlotte after that. It was just the one song.
I think it is my playlist creations are probably what confuses Spotify even more, because I just made a playlist recently because my kid decided that she likes the Beatles as well, which is like really exciting for me because I also like the Beatles. But she's the Hamilton kid, and so I made a new playlist called I Guess Hamilton Liked the Beatles. And it's a mashup of Hamilton and Beatles music. But I also have 6 playlists that are for different feelings of being sad. So there's like, it's like sad screaming, upbeat sad boy hours. Oh, you're sad? Here's a hopeful feeling. Oh, you're sad? Let's get sadder. You thought you were sad before. So, and all of those are filled with wildly different music because you need to find the right playlist to match your mood.
I don't have the right flavor of sad.
Yeah. Right.
And that's our dang timer.
I don't have any happy playlists.
How much note did we not get to? I count 1, 2, 3 of 5 things, by the way. There were 5 things on the list. We didn't hit 3 of them.
I think we're going to have to start doing these notes we didn't get to episode notes, because what a wild conversation this has been. And I've enjoyed it. I hope everyone else has. Yeah.
Let us know if you like these sort of like unhinged hopping episodes, or if you prefer if we sort of stick to one topic. This is totally up to you, because we're cool doing it either way. And if you prefer us just hopping from topic to topic and basically treating this like a very expensive to produce FaceTime, please buy the Bones coffee. All right. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Childproof. I broke Tori.
Thank you for checking out our other shows, Bibliophage and Fountain.
Be sure to leave a rating, write a review, subscribe, turn on notifications, push all the buttons that you're supposed to push. It really does help get our podcast and Founded and Bibliophage to all the places that it should be going.
Yeah, so make sure, if you're listening, make sure you are subscribed. It really does help. And we want to hear from you. So email us questions you have, opinions you have, jokes you have, like whatever you want to email us. Just don't bully us, please, at childproofmail@gmail.com.
And remember, sometimes our kids are the assholes.
And sometimes it's us in the mom look.
It's almost always the people who keep dumping crap on this floor in the store.
Yeah, just pick it up.